just means nothing to me.
All right,
I'll get it.
For the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just checked to see if you guys are learning anything.
Can you see the flag?
All right, Carl moved over a little bit. That boy, Carl.
Any public comment for the meeting today? Hearing none. Samantha, would you like to give your report?
Sure. For December, there were 150 911 calls, up from 129 year previously, still averaging about 4.8 a day. All of the times remained within contract limits, 34 emergent transfers, 20 non-emergents, 39 treatment refused. You can see there for the new mobile integrated health visits in November, we had 22 because we had started late in the month. For December, we ended with 77. Again, those are free community visits that we are doing through the hospital. One Intercept mutual aid, and I don't know why it didn't print out, but at 100% for first time successful intubations. Any questions on the first page of the scorecard?
How are you feeling about those mobile visits?
I personally feel great about them. There's some mixture in the staff. They're of course scared, as anybody would be. They're the most vulnerable staff going in to see these patients, but we are equipping them with PPE. They have all of the necessary supplies. It's been a very, very positive experience for the community. The discharge surveys are at 100% success with that. So I still think it's a great service. Hopefully we can find a billable way to bill for that. We just this week got an add-on to the electronic health record, so it will be its own separate program, and then we can work through the billing piece of that going forward. The second page is destinations of those 911 calls. Still looking at about half of them coming to the hospital. Of the 42 not applicable, those are your treat no transports, or occasionally there would be an air service added into there, but you had 39 treat no transports.
The true the regional does take Medicaid patients, regional hospital.
Emergently, they have to take, all hospitals have to take any.
Okay.
Scheduled is different, but we haven't had any problem. We took them our trauma transports, and we didn't have any problem with Medicaid at that point.
So under MTALA, they have to take everyone that we want to bring in the door. Now, whether they admit them for other services is going to be hospital standard
It's a
specific.
for-profit hospital, correct? Regional is.
They're an ACA corporation, so they are
Yeah,
for-profit.
they're for-profit.
You're still able to maintain the 3 ambulances? You're not having no staffing problems or anything?
We've had a couple of times here recently where we've called in a fourth.
Those are
Cover.
We've had 4 trucks running
Had
a
4
couple
trucks
times
in.
in December.
So you have 4 ambulances?
We have 5 ambulances, but we only staff 3 24/7,
right.
and then if 2 of those go out and one's left by itself, we will start calling around to get somebody who lives close
Right.
locally to either listen to their pager or go ahead and come on in. I know New Year's Day, there was a long transfer, so we called in the 4th rig. They were in for about 3 hours staffing that 4th truck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put a caveat onto that. We have 5 ambulances, 4 of them are licensed. The 5th one is a mobile education unit. But that one, in event of mass casualty, natural disaster, that can also, obviously some laws kind of go out the window there, so we can use that to transport. But we do have 4 ALS licensed ambulances that are fully stocked. So we're not pulling equipment off of other trucks to stock that 4th one. That one has every piece of equipment that all the rest of them do.
Which one doesn't have a name on it?
That's the 4th one.
That's Medic 4. We're working with our,
I've noticed that.
yeah, we're working with our vinyl guy. He's, due to COVID, he's having trouble getting supplies and he's way backed up. So we're on his schedule. We're just kind of on his time frame right now, waiting to get that letter down.
Can I ask you a question that's got nothing to do with your ambulance deal, but how does this vaccine deal doing in Illinois? I mean, I hear nothing about it. Do you have any information or just general stuff you could say, or you know? I don't know anything.
We're a little bit slower than other states.
Geez, that's hard to believe.
Yeah.
We, as a county, are a little bit behind other counties.
Are they going by like the older people in nursing homes and the nurses and doctors and stuff first like they should?
Yes,
Illinois is doing that?
yes.
Okay, then how do you ever know if it's your turn? There are older people that have, had different kinds of surgery and stuff that are vulnerable to this more than others, you know, have no immune system. How do those people know?
There's different phases they're operating on right now, and then the phase cycle breaks down by IDPH.
That is all done through the public health department. That is not at all done through the
Well,
hospital.
I know, I was just,
So-
wanted to know what you knew, because I don't know anything.
I would think that the health department would be communicating out via their routes of communication, whether that be newspaper or Facebook or I don't know, whatever, but the health department will be distributing the vaccine based on those categories that they're ready for.
You call for, I think like you and I would have to call for an appointment to get the vaccine, from what I read.
But you're wondering, how would you know when it's
Yeah,
your
I just
turn?
wanna know, I don't give a crap when my turn comes, but I just wanna know, I don't wanna be ignorant and miss it
Yeah, same way.
if I take that vaccine in.
For the hospital, the health department called the hospital one week and said, it was in December, and said how many frontline staff are going to be taking the vaccine. And we had to give them a specific number. And then about 2 weeks later, the hospital was shipped that number of vaccine. Now, we had some people, it came the week between Christmas and New Year's, so we had some people that weren't working, and once a vial is opened, it has to be used within 6 hours. So we were able to extend some of those doses to like pharmacists,
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
you know, other frontline healthcare people, some dentists, some, you know, those type of staff. And
Well,
then
I'm not really, I mean, I
I
think
know that they did a
that-
shipment to the nursing homes because I did see,
That has happened?
yeah, I did see where a
Mhm,
couple
yeah.
of the nursing homes had their staff and some of their patients vaccinated already. But that, again, that's not us, that gets coordinated through the health department, so.
Yeah, eventually, I read where Walgreens and CVS and Walmart will be given the vaccine.
That's who did all of the nursing
Or,
homes. That's who coordinated and did all the nursing homes.
And they're gonna eventually probably do, that would be
Yeah,
pretty good.
I would
I got
imagine
the
it'll be
flu
open
shot.
to general public whenever the doses become available, but that's probably further
The
down the
question is,
line.
when do you know your number's up, so I don't know.
they'll let you know in the paper.
That's all coordinated through
Well,
IDPH.
I hear this lead will heat and piss on him, you know, yeah, we don't care about him anyway. Not that it matters, I'm just saying.
No, I mean, you're not asking a question that I don't get asked 500 times a day. And unfortunately, I don't work for the state or the health department, so I don't have the answers for it.
Well, you already told me more than I do.
And the health department doesn't know the answer to, they have to wait for the State Department of Health to say,
To tell them
now
what
you're
to
into
do.
the next phase.
So the Democratic Department of Health, okay.
Well,
That's
it's like the
explains
Department of Health, depending on the state.
it.
Yeah.
It's all Britter's fault.
That's kind of interesting, my insurance company, which is United Healthcare, you can go on the internet and sign up, they will send you a test kit. So I'm gonna get a COVID test kit in the mail, a Tamiflu prescription in the mail, and a thermometer in the mail. So they're very proactive on things like that.
Thermometer, rectal or oral?
Anything else from you
Yeah,
related to
you can
ambulance?
do the same thing.
I had a
Yes,
question.
insurance company.
Looking at the figures on the dispatch en route time,
Uh-huh,
kind of the trend has been, you know, there's been some ups and downs, but the trend's been kind of
creeping a little bit.
creeping up. And I just wondered what, if there's an issue, you know, with
in your lower months, I can't really speak a whole bunch, January, February, March, of course,
Right.
everybody was hot on the radio when we
Right.
first got the,
Right.
contract. But in your summer months, I can tell you that the rigs are parked right next to their quarters. They can be outside when the weather allows. Right now, those medications have to be kept above freezing,
Yeah.
so those rigs have to be barned the entire time. So you
Okay.
will see a slight delay
Okay,
when it's colder
all right,
and when it's super, super hot, because those medications will break down
Okay.
and we'd have to waste them. So that's why the barn has to be temperature controlled. When the crews want them as close to them as humanly possible. One change that we did make this last month was we did, for social distancing purposes, reconfigure part of that pole barn
right,
and put in 2 offices and 4 additional bedrooms so that the crews are actually sleeping in the barn next to the rigs. So I think that is definitely helping with times, it's helping with our safety as far as health wise. But we're still struggling because our communications guy had COVID and he hasn't got down to put our radio repeaters on top of that barn, and you cannot get out of that metal barn
Right.
on your radios. So they gotta put the garage door up, pull the rig out to radio to be able to get out.
okay,
So it's taken a little bit, and we've had him working on it since November, since we knew it was coming, and he just hasn't, he sent a different guy from Peoria, and that guy had a different idea, and
okay.
so we've had a little bit of
Okay.
trouble with him.
Well, I just noticed that, and I just wondered if maybe on 911 at our end, maybe there was something we weren't doing, and, just, if something needed to be addressed to make the situation better.
And we can break this down further. Obviously, if we're getting called in the middle of the night, those times are slightly longer than would be during the day, so
Right.
it could be a matter of, we had more nighttime calls than daytime
Right.
calls in this period,
Okay.
but
Yeah, okay.
still, at a minute from dispatching route, I feel, with all things considered, it's still fairly fast.
Yeah,
They're doing a really good job of maintaining that urgency to get out the door and get
Good.
going towards,
that was,
Towards
well,
the
that was
patient.
an issue in the past.
yeah,
And that was a big deal for me,
yeah, exactly.
right,
No, that's something that we reiterate at every monthly staff
Right.
meeting, is making sure that they're being safe and that they're checking, like right now today, there's some icing conditions, so making sure you're not just running out the door, that, are you prepared? Do you have all of if the ambulance were to break down, do you have enough blankets? Do you have,
Right.
everything that you would need to maintain your safety? But we still need to meet that time, so be prepared, be
Yeah.
thinking ahead.
right. Okay, all right, thank you. Anybody else have any questions for this? All right, thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
Mr. Brenner, do you have anything?
No, I called Andrew the other day, no problems. She did mention Linda still has a cat or a
Brace.
brace. Did she get her insurance taken care of?
Yeah.
Remember had a problem with it, didn't we?
She got her testing done.
Okay.
It was locally, either here in Paris or Terre Haute, I forget now. She didn't have to go clear to Bloomington, I think, or Peoria,
Yeah,
wherever
you
it was.
mentioned that, yeah.
And she did have a broken bone or something, and I haven't talked to her lately, and I don't know what she's gonna have to do or anything.
Edgar said she was working with a brace or something.
I saw her in the truck the other day out doing something, so she's working.
Yeah, she never missed any work, but, it was causing her a lot of problems and pain and everything, and one of the dogs knocked her down or
Yeah.
jumped on her or something. I
That's the
forget now what
second
it
time
was.
we've had that problem. We need to get smaller dogs or something. And, we got a meeting tomorrow, so we'll
Okay.
work everything out for the year, so.
Yeah.
Other than that, no problem. I did have a question, but I don't know, Jeff answered on the bills. Something about Sam Roberts with the security fence, is that the one at the health department, do you know? They were supposed to build a fence
It's there.
between the old hospital and, clinic, and it said Sam Roberts, twice for $4,000, but I don't know, maybe Jeff can answer that question.
Yeah, I
Has to
don't
do
know.
with, maybe the one that's gonna build out to the health department. Goes, separate the The old hospital.
The old hospital from the clinic. or
Yeah, they had
health
some
department.
problems there, so I'll ask Jeff about it on Wednesdays.
He won't be here Wednesday, I don't think.
No, okay.
But I,
Nice fishing trip.
Well, we have a health department meeting coming up this month, I think, so I'll find out, so.
okay,
Other than that, I have nothing.
okay. Russ, do you have any? Lisa?
I'm gonna email Derek because we haven't, I haven't heard any more, we haven't had another meeting about, Northern Edgar County Ambulance Service. I did see that they didn't have, that the board didn't have enough for
I
a
saw-
quorum.
I saw that.
So I have a couple questions for Derek that, hopefully by this time next month we'll be doing something.
You know, I don't know what time frame we have here for
I
all
don't-
that.
I
but,
don't
you know,
either.
I don't want
And
to
I don't-
drag on and get behind
Yeah.
eight ball here.
Right.
Right, and I don't know anything about this since I wasn't involved, you know, with this ambulance bid letting. But, so hopefully Derek can answer some of my questions, but, yeah, I feel like that's just stalled, and if somebody doesn't get on it, it will
Right.
stay stalled.
Right.
Remember this one was what, May's when it changed over? The one with the health department taking over the ambulance service was in May of
I think-
last year, I
I
think,
think
or
you're
June,
somewhere
somewhere
in
around there,
spring, summer.
yeah. Right.
I do have a couple more questions, but
I
it has
do
to do
too,
with
but-
jail.
Okay.
So, and this may be just absolutely normal, I don't have any reference. When you look at Committee Code 32,
I haven't looked at any of this.
so catch me up on food, because really that, other than, just some run-of-the-mill expenses, before we were using Track Shack,
We were using the track shack,
I'm sorry, it'll always be the Track Shack. I
uh,
never remember whether we're on or off the
on the
tracks.
track cafe or something like
That
that.
was all.
But, you know, that, it was becoming expensive, there was some issues, so he went back to canteen, is there a
Yeah.
canteen? Yeah. I think sometime last month, I think Jeff said he was gonna go back to canteen, and that comes out of Terre Haute. And, prior to using on the tracks, we used canteen. And Canteen had a contract, they were doing the meals in Vigo County Jail, Edgar County Jail, and Clark County Jail. And we done away with it and went to the Track Shack. In Clark County, they went to a local restaurant, they got a bid, and they went with that, but then they had issues, so I think all three of them are back with Canteen again.
And maybe it was I think it was one of my very first meetings where Andy was talking about the fact that our kitchen at the jail, there needed to be some fixing or retooling or something, and so that's been done, and so,
Well, they were, because at one time they were talking about having the correctional officers prepare the meals, you know, have in-house prepare the meals. And they started doing some of that and they found out that they weren't, with the public health, something wasn't right. But I think now that they went with canteen, they don't have to make all those changes, because basically all they're doing is the food is already prepared when it comes, and I think when it comes in the evening, it has a hot meal, because you have to provide one hot meal of the three, and then the rest of it is put in the refrigerator. So it's just a matter of them taking the sack out and handing it. So I think they're up to snuff on everything right now.
There's something problem with a microwave there or something too?
Well, there was issues with the microwaves in the cell blocks.
Okay.
And then I think the insurance company and DOC gave them the okay and said that was fine, and it hasn't been an issue.
so you're pretty comfortable with with how the food system is going and the cost is normal or acceptable?
It's actually lower than what with Track Shack.
Mm,
Because with Track Shack, it was kind of expensive compared to what we were previously paying.
gotcha.
And I noticed that, like Save a Lot, I'm just looking at the bill, Save a Lot, Prairie Farms, you know, they're buying some milk to provide for the inmates. I don't know whether they're serving cereal, you know, I don't know the specifics on what they're serving, but I think they were buying some stuff like fruit and some different things from Save a Lot to give in addition to what we're getting from Canteen. You know, just an additional nutritious stuff,
Yeah.
fruits and stuff, bananas and stuff like that. So I don't know the details, but later on the week, we'll probably be talking to the sheriff and the chief deputy, and we can find out exactly what's going on with that. Because since they switched over, I haven't had any conversation to know exactly how things have been going.
Now, one I was referring to was number 50 on Sam Roberts, where it says privacy fence. It's got
Is it
4,000.
under the health department?
Yes.
Is that their stuff?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we always have a ton of stuff. Oh, whereabouts it? Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
Balance for privacy, that's $9,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not aware about a
Well, I kinda
privacy.
thought the health department was gonna pay for all of it, so I don't know how this works. I'll find out when I have a meeting, so.
Yeah, so that's something that the money will get transferred from the health department's budget.
Well,
Must
fence is
be,
not
I
cheap, I
don't
know
know,
that.
I'll check on it.
Yeah,
I know we talked about it, I didn't realize it had been done, so, okay.
Anything else, Lisa?
no, thank you.
Okay.
Nothing, Carl.
Nothing good.
Question on the jail, are you gonna talk about the new lawsuit that's been filed? Or is that something we can't talk about?
That's something we can't, with pending legislation,
Litigation.
litigation, we can't talk about in the open session. We'd have to go to closed session, and I don't,
Well,
you know, I know it's been turned over to the insurance company, and, you know, they've got
is that the
attorneys,
first one or second one?
both.
Okay.
Right.
I just wondered,
Jesus, this never seems to end, does it?
stupid lawsuit, but, oh well.
And, Augie, do you have anything?
I do. Looks, number one, the agenda's very light for Wednesday. And, however, what I do have, Jeff asked me to circulate this, request for a special board meeting for this Friday morning. We're gonna go into closed session, discuss some items, and come out of closed session with some possible action. So he didn't give me the details, but I need 3 people to sign that request for a special board meeting for this coming
What time?
Friday at 10 a.m. here.
Carl.
And I've had a conversation with him, and it's to do with personnel. There was one other thing, but it's basically personnel. There was something else that he said, that it was basically the personnel.
At
And
10 o'clock.
and the sheriff and chief deputy will be here at the meeting, or they've been requested to come to the meeting.
With today's date?
Today's date, yes, please, today's date, 11,
11.
January 11.
Anything else, Augie?
No, that's all I have, thank
Okay.
you.
I don't think I had anything. Anybody else have anything?
The cats are doing fine.
Good.
They're pain in the butt at times.
So are you.
We're not,
See
works
what's
out real well.
different.
doesn't it?
Need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make it.
Second? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned.